Hello everyone! Today we will practice several meditations in one. We will start off with reflection on interconnectedness. This is a practice that can be done in any posture. Just be relaxed, be at ease. See if you can begin to trace back all those people who are involved in your interest and meditation. Someone might have given you a book, read you a poem, played you a piece of music, told you about their meditation experience. Let a sense of them, recollection of them, come into the room with you. Consider including those who have really hurt you, not just those who you find a little bit annoying or irritating, but someone whose actions have really brought you to an edge, so that you almost said, "I've got to find another way to be happy. I have to look more deeply into life." After all, they're a part of why we're here now as well. Maybe you had a teacher who instilled love of learning and a willingness to be adventurous. Maybe you had a parent who instilled confidence in your ability to try new things or explore new terrain. Maybe you've had a child who's opened you up to a sense of wonder and interest. Just let them be here with you right now. What about the clothing that you're wearing? How many forms of life? How many people? How many beings have been involved in a growing of that fiber, creation of cloth, transporting it, selling it, the creation of the building in which you're sitting, or the stewards of the plot of land if you're outside. All the forms of life involved in the food that you've eaten today. Creature in the earth who planted that seed and nurtured that crop, who did the harvest, transported the food, sold the food, prepared the food. You can see that none of us is actually independent, alone, or cut off, however alone we might sometimes feel. They are all a part of the greater fabric of life. This immense web of relationships and connections and influences. This immense web of interdependence. We arrive at this moment in time born by a sea, an ocean of conditions. If we look at a tree, we can see it as just a tree. Or we can look at a tree and sense the soil and everything that affects the quality of that soil, which is nourishing the tree. The rainfall, everything affecting the quality of that rainfall. The sunlight and the moonlight. The quality of the air. Is the tree just a tree, or the confluence of all these conditions coming together, moving and changing? And so too we can see ourselves. Meditation on seeing the good even through our more habituated tendency, might be to remember the things we've done wrong and the mistakes we've made, the things we regret. We can consciously shift our attention to include the good with ourselves, and so too when we look at others. This is not an exercise meant to deny that anything is wrong or regrettable, but if we look at somebody and we only think about the mistakes they've made, then a tremendous sense of self and other and us and them can be reinforced. Whereas if we include even one thing, if we can think of it, then a bridge is built so that when we honestly and directly look at what's difficult, it's more from a stance of being side by side rather than across this huge gulf of seeming separation. Beginning with oneself, just in a relaxed, easy posture. However you feel comfortable, see if you can think of one good thing you did yesterday. It might not have been very big or grandiose. Maybe you smiled at somebody. Maybe you listened to them. Maybe you let go of some annoyance at a slow clerk at a store. Maybe you forgave yourself for not saying something totally correctly. Maybe you were generous. Maybe you sat down to meditate. Maybe you thanked a bus driver. It's not conceit or arrogance to consider these things. It's quite nourishing, replenishing to take joy, to take delight in the good that lies through us that we can manifest. If at any time, whether with ourselves or somebody else, we cannot think of something good, then there's another reflection that we do, which is simply to recall that all beings want to be happy. Everybody wants to be happy. This urge towards happiness is nothing to be squeamish about or feel funny about. The problem is not the urge. The problem is ignorance, not really sensing where genuine happiness might be found, and so making the mistakes that might cause so much suffering for ourselves or for somebody else. That urge toward happiness itself is rightful, is appropriate. When we can combine it with wisdom instead of with ignorance, it becomes like a homing instinct for freedom and can help us cut through many obstacles. We start with ourselves and then with others, looking for the good. If it's just not going to happen that way, we switch to this other reflection, recalling that all beings want to be happy. Think of a benefactor, someone who's helped you. Here their good qualities might come in a rush. You can appreciate that about them, those aspects, those efforts, those acts of kindness. Think of a good friend. Appreciate the good within them. Think of someone you know who's having a difficult time right now. They're ill or hurting. Think of the good within them. The times they've reached out to help others. their own sources of strength. You can see that this person, it's not just a problem, but something bigger. Think of someone you have a little bit of difficulty with, a conflict, unease. See if you can find some good reflected in things they've done or choices they've made. If not, you can switch to that other reflection, remembering that they too, just like each one of us, wants to be happy. They want to be happy. Everybody wants the same sense of belonging, feeling at home in this body, this mind, this life. Ignorance is a very strong force. I will close with a few moments of the reflection that all beings want to be happy. May they be happy. You can silently repeat that over and over again. You can close the session with a few moments of reflection that all beings want to be happy. May they be happy. You can silently repeat these phrases over and over again. All beings want to be happy. May they be happy. Now we're going to start off with another meditation on compassion. This is a reflection that can be done in any posture, as open or closed. Just be relaxed. Call to mind a difficult emotion you felt recently. Anger, greed, jealousy, fear. Notice how you feel about that emotion. Are you ashamed of it? Do you dislike yourself for it? Do you feel you should have been able to prevent it from arising? Do you consider yourself in some way bad or wrong for this feeling? See what happens if you translate that sense of bad, wrong, defective, terrible to painful, to recognize that this state of anger, fear, or jealousy is a painful state. It's a state of suffering. See what happens to your relationship to that feeling as you make this translation. Take that emotion, see what it feels like in your body. The anger, the fear, the jealousy now held with some kindness, some compassion. Observe the various sensations. Maybe it's tightening in your chest, constriction. Notice the nature of the compassion which was holding it, surrounding it. The pain is there and the compassion is there. Notice if that sense of bad and wrong and terrible comes back. Now imagine someone you know filled with that same emotion. Jealousy, anger, fear, greed. Notice what happens as you describe to yourself those states of emotion as bad, wrong, terrible, horrible. What happens as you respond to them, the states of pain or suffering? You can reflect on the fact that we can't seem to control the arising of these feelings. We didn't invite them. We didn't wish for them. As conditions come together, they arise and we see our own greed, jealousy, hatred, and so on. We don't need to be overcome by them, defined by them, fall into them, or act from them. We're actually not able to prevent them from arising. This is just in the nature of things for ourselves and for others. We can't commit ourselves to trying to see them very quickly, to recognize their painful nature, to have compassion for ourselves and to let go. We can't commit ourselves to remembering that when someone else is acting badly, the state that is likely motivating them of greed or hatred or fear is a painful state, and we can have compassion for them. Even as we may take strong action to try to change the situation, or protect ourselves, or take care of someone else, our motive in doing so need to be a sense of disgust or aversion, but can be that recognition of the pain they too are in. Now we are going to go ahead with a meditation on emotion, which brings up a joyous feeling, perhaps a memory, a plan, an encounter, and feel the emotion within that. Sense of delight, gratitude, wonder, whatever it might be. See where you feel it in your body. What does it feel like? How is it changing? Can you experience it fully in the present moment without leaning forward into the future? I've got to get some more. I can't let it go away. If you see those kinds of reactions in your mind, settle back. Come back into your body. Feel the different sensations being born of that emotion in this moment. Bring up a difficult emotion. Let's say it's anger. In the same way, feel it in your body. The circumstances, the provocation, the plans for revenge don't really matter. In this meditation, we are focused on the feeling itself. So apart from the story, what does the anger feel like in your body? Or does it feel like it's a mood? It's not just one thing. It may be moments of sadness, moments of fear, moments of frustration, moments of helplessness. Just watch them arise and pass away to make up this emotion we call anger. Notice that neither the joyful state or the angry state is permanent, fixed, unchanging. You may find your attention going back into some story. First, I'm going to do this. Then I'm going to do that. If you can recognize that, just let go of it. come back to your direct experience in the moment. What am I feeling right now? And what does it feel like? What's happening? What's its nature? And even after you finish the formal session of meditation, see if you can bring some of this skill into your encounters throughout the day. What am I feeling right now? What does it feel like? What's its nature? Now we will go ahead on a meditation to let go of thought. In this meditation, you can sit comfortably or lie down. Close your eyes, or if you're keeping them open, just find a spot in front of you to rest your gaze. Let it go. And center your attention on the feeling of the in and out breath at the nostrils, at the chest, or at the abdomen. Just a normal, natural breath. And as you feel the sensations of the breath, you can make a very quiet mental notation of breath with the in-breath, with the out-breath. And then, when a thought arises that's strong enough to take your attention away from the breath, simply note it as not breath. It's not the breath, and as you recognize it in just that way, it doesn't matter if it's the most beautiful thought in the world or the most terrible thought in the world, the one you would never disclose to anybody else. It's simply not the breath. You don't have to judge yourself. You don't have to get lost in the thought or elaborate it. You recognize it's not the breath. Very gently let go and bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. It's breath and not breath. Some of your thoughts may be tender, caring. Some may be very cruel, hurtful. They are not the breath. See them. Recognize them. Let them go. Bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. The thoughts are like clouds moving through the sky. Some are very light and fluffy looking, very inviting. Some are quite ominous and threatening, but they're not the breath. Just let them go. Our habitual tendency is to grab onto a thought, build an entire world around it, or push it away, struggle against it. Here we stay even, balanced, calm. We simply recognize it's not the breath. Very gently let it go. Bring your attention back, one breath at a time. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and relax. This is a meditation where we first center our attention on the feeling of the breath, wherever it's most predominant, wherever it's easiest for us, just a normal, natural breath. And quietly note in, out, or rising, falling, to help support the awareness of the breath. Then if something arises that is predominant, that takes over our awareness, sensation, sound, image, emotion, thinking, see if you can make a quiet mental note of just what that experience is in the moment, without judgment, just as an act of recognition. Oh, thinking, planning, anger, joy. If the note comes easily, you don't need to struggle to get exactly the right word. It doesn't need to be elaborate. It's just an act of recognition. Oh, that's what's happening right now. There's sadness. There's happiness. Hearing. Seeing. Thinking. Gently note that experience 3 or 4 times. Hearing. 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 See if you can bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. The mental note is very quiet. It first of all establishes a sphere of awareness which is not caught up in that experience but is able to discern it, to recognize it. It also provides an instant feedback system for us. It is an open-hearted, even acceptance. Oh, this is what's happening right now. Or is it more like thinking with fretfulness or resentment? And if we hear that, we say it again. Oh, thinking. And then bring your attention back to the feeling of the breath. You don't need to try to take in everything. It's just those things that arise quite strongly, pull us away from the breath. We spend a few moments as though to say, oh yeah, this is what's happening right now. And then we come back. The mental noting is the platform for mindfulness. We see what's happening right now as it is. We are not elaborating it. We are not judging it. We are not struggling against it, nor falling into it. Oh, there's thinking, anger, joy. Because it's the platform for mindfulness, it's the platform for learning. We can see just what's happening right now. Many things will arise and pass away. Some very pleasant, some unpleasant, some neutral, but our job is just to note them, to recognize them, to see them for what they are, to see the truth of this very important moment, and then breathe. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes. Meditation on balance. Two of the forces that we're cultivating in meditation practice are tranquility and energy, calmness and alertness, relaxation and investigation. In any method of meditation, we work to bring these together, to bring them into balance. So it's said that from the beginning, this is reflected in our posture. If you're sitting, you want to have your back straight without being stiff or tense. Too much energy. You also don't want to be slumped over so that you're nearly bound to fall asleep. You want to be upright, not have too much tranquility, relaxation. So if you sit straight without being tense, and here too, you can close your eyes or not and center your attention to the feeling of the normal, natural breath. And notice the play of energy or interest and calmness or relaxation in how you are with the breath. Are you way for back? Don't care really what it feels like? Come forward a little bit. Feel the actual sensations at the nostrils, at the chest, or at the abdomen. Do you have sort of a death grip on the breath, thinking if I hold on really tight, my mind won't wander, when in fact it will actually wander more? Maybe you need to relax a little bit. If you can feel yourself in the place in the middle with tranquility and alertness, you'll see how just one breath is tremendously fulfilling. We are not overriding it. We're not shrinking back from it. We're rather meeting it completely. Sometimes, in my own practice, I use this image of holding something very fragile, very precious, like something made of glass in my hand. If I were to grab it too tightly, it would shatter and break. But if I were to get lazy or negligent, and my hand would fall open, it would fall off and break. So I just cradle it. I'm in touch with it. I cherish it. And so too, we are with each breath. We don't want to grab it too tight, nor be too loose, too energized, or too relaxed. We meet this moment, we meet this breath, and we cherish it, one breath at a time. If you find yourself getting way far back, bored, disinterested, come forward. If you're too far forward, too tense, trying too hard, settle back. Let the breath come to you. If you feel you need to adjust the balance, don't worry about it. You needn't question yourself. Am I too tight? Am I too loose? But let your intuition arise. Then come back to the place in the middle. It's just one breath. If you have too little energy, you'll get sleepy, sluggish, dull. You can sit up a little straighter. If your eyes have been closed, you can open them up. Maybe take a few deep breaths to allow the sensation to be more intense. And then once again, allow the breath to become natural. Aim your attention toward just one breath. It's the whole universe. Nothing else matters. If you have too much energy, you'll feel restless, agitated, worried. If that happens, see if you can feel the sensations of one breath, as though your hands were in water and you felt the water swirling around all the different sensations. So too, with your mind, your attention, you can feel the sensations. It will soothe you, ground the energy. You can feel just one breath. And when you feel ready, you can open your eyes and relax. Thank you for joining me in this sequence of meditations today, and I'm hoping to see you all soon.